Now,
Hello,
Shivani.
everyone. Good evening and a very warm welcome to our session today. We'd like to welcome you to our webinar and thank you for joining us today for the first ever virtual tour, the Virtual Choose Trans Tour. My name is Shivani Chaudhyan. I'm the manager for Campus Trans Bhopal and I will be hosting this session with my colleague, Ms. Shubhra Sharma. She is the co-manager for Campus Trans Delhi. In our webinar today, that is jobs and internships, we are going to talk about a very important part of student life in France and also life post your education in France. So internships, as some of you may know, are an integral part of your education in France. While the duration of these internships may vary from 2 months to 6 months, most courses have at least one mandatory internship during the course of your program. And it is safe to say that you have to complete this internship to validate your program. And more often than not, you can convert these internships into a job opportunity later on. So you can see why this is such an important topic for your education, for your higher studies in France. So we're going to seek more information about this from our esteemed panelists. So their observations, their advice, opinions, etc. So Shubhra, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Shivani. So, as we talk about all our panelists, I'd like to tell all our students, all our viewers, who all we have as panelists today. We have Mr. Eric Fajol, who is the head of Business France South Asia. We have Mr. Pascal Mosson, who is Vice President International Affairs INP Toulouse. We have Ms. Dharini Joshi, who is Country Manager for Schema Business School. And we have Ms. Kanika Bhardwaj, who is our alumna from Grenoble École de Management. So we would start with Mr. Eric Fajol. Uh, Hello, how are you? And we welcome you here for this webinar. And could you please share your thoughts, your opinion about jobs and internships for students? What are the opportunities in France?
Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. I'm very happy actually to have been invited by the Campus France and the French Institute in India for that seminar. First of all, because we talk about attractiveness of France for students, and my job is to attract Indian investors to France to get them developing business in France. And I must say that in the recent years, we saw a lot of Indian big companies investing in France, and I will come back about this. And second, also because I am from Toulouse. I'm born in Toulouse. I studied in Paris, and my niece is at Schema school in France. She's also from Toulouse, but Schema she's doing in various campus, and she's very happy to be at Schema in Sofia Antipolis, then in Brazil, then in Lille. So just a testimony, a personal testimony of how good are those schools and the life also in France. So I'm not used to talk to that type of conference and for attractiveness of our school, but I'm convinced that we have a particular moment in the relationship between France and India at present. There is a strong and strategic partnership between India and France, between Prime Minister Modi and President Macron, especially for us as an alternative to China, to have a stronger relationship with India and with Indian investors or Indian students, but also for India as an alternative to UK, to have France as a key strategic partner for business, but also for talents and for training and school. As you know, we talk a lot into business about Brexit. So France and Germany are the key countries now of EU for students and for business to be focused on. So we have seen a lot of, as I said, investment in France from Indian company, and a lot of interest of Indian big company in our country. We have currently 120 Indian company in France, all around France, from Marseille, Toulouse, Lille, Paris, Lyon. They bought French company and are investing more. So that's a good option for Indian student to make an internship, for example, in an Indian company in France, and this is increasing. And on another hand, we have also a lot of French company in India. We have 650 French company currently in India, all around India. And all of them are also very much interested into focusing in talents from India and also from France. When I talk to CEOs or chairmen of companies, especially in India, I was talking with Wipro, for example, or Infosys. They want to have those bilateral relations with university and French schools with Indian students. And they are very much interested into having some students train in France, and then they can go, when they go back to India, they can find a job in a subsidiary in a French company in India, and there are a lot of options for that. So I must say that, and this presence is in a pharmaceutical and chemicals. The key issue everybody knows is the military and defense sector, with a Rafale jet fighter just arrived in India a few days ago and a few weeks ago. So defense, aeronautics, automotive sector is also very important. Citroën brand will launch new car in the beginning of next year. Renault is very present in India. Agro business also is very important on both sides. And yesterday, the chairman of Tata, Tata Son, was talking to the President Macron in a conference that we organized. And as you know, Tata has a very interesting and strong story with France. I think that link between Tata and France is also a very interesting opportunity, because they have invested a lot in France, and they are very keen about anything linked with students as well, and research and development. Startups also, we have seen that startup from India, incubated in India in some big groups, are very much interesting after to go to France with some students, and to spend time in France, and even to develop ties with French big groups. So, I mean, if I was an Indian student now, of course, I will hesitate between UK, America, and other parts of Europe. But I think that because I was living in different countries, I was living in Brazil, I was living in Turkey, in Vietnam, in South Africa, in Portugal, and of course in France, I can see that English is just a normal language for everyone to talk and to link people. Everyone should speak English. This is not an issue. We are not competing with English. And most of you speak very well English, but I must say that to make a difference, if you want to make a difference, even on a CV, for a company, but also for your career. I mean, another language should be Italian, French, or whatever, but France is giving a kind of opening on culture, on arts, on gastronomy, on food, on different things that other language, maybe Italian, but French is very strong for that. So I think that going to France in a university or school, French school, that they have developed courses in English, of course, you will be taught in English in France, and there is no issue. You can survive speaking French in France for your personal things, but also for school. But I will think that to learn French as well will be a very good advantage for you, for your career. It can open you to African country where Indian government want to be also very strong, to other also elite people. And I'm in India since July, so I'm very recent, but I've seen a lot of CEOs and chairmen, Indian CEO, they speak French, and they gave them very good opportunity to make business also. So France is, I think, a very good option. We have been #1 now for foreign investment in Europe. We took the first row last year. The British were always first, but last year the investors, the foreign investor, they preferred to invest in France than going to UK. And I think that is showing that France is the key country in Europe for business and also for studies. So I wish that you could join and travel to France, where I think you will be able to know that we have reopened, embassy has reopened the visa for Indian students to go to France. And also on the other side, I'm in charge of a young program, French young program called Volunteers, VIE, Volunteers in Enterprises. So we are also receiving some French students here, and they do internship in a French company in India. So I think this kind of exchange, it's very good for both countries. And I think by choosing a French school, you have a lot of opportunities of jobs after that. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric. I'm sure our students have gained a lot of information with all that you've shared. And there are a lot of questions which we will be taking up at the end of this webinar. So all the students, please stay with us and we will be answering all your questions. Moving on to Mr. Pascal, I would request you to share your opinion about this topic of jobs and internships, solely focusing on engineering domain as well. So please share your opinion.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Well, okay, thanks for the introduction. Good evening, everybody. And thank you for the invitation by Campus France and Indian Institute. Well, I'm Pascal Motion, professor in electrical engineering, and I'm also vice president for the international affairs with Toulouse INP, which is a public university, and the group of School of Engineers. So just a few words. Why Toulouse? Toulouse is down southwest of France, close to the Pyrenees Mountains, not far away from the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. Well, very interesting city and place and domain and region. Into you can find, well, interesting places to visit and discover, but also a lot of international students, research labs, and companies. Toulouse INP is a group of School of Engineers. As you can see here, there are several schools of engineers here, which are focused on the electricity, fluid mechanics, IT, agronomy, agriculture, chemistry, chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, and so on. So, but we also try to promote, we also want to promote 7 Master of Science, which are taught in English with some partners, which are listed here, but it is not the most important thing I would like to point out. Maybe just a quick glance on the French higher education system. If you're a candidate, if you want to come to France, of course, well, I think that the best opportunity for Indian students would be after the bachelor. So they can apply for a 2-year master program. But if they can also apply for the M2, it means the 2nd years of the master, if they already have a master, or a bachelor plus 4 years of professional experience. So that's what I would like to know, to tell you that we recognize your professional experience in India. So what can I tell you? Well, you are welcome. Indian students, dear Indian students, you're welcome in our engineering schools and after. Why? Because we, in our Master of Science, well, that's true for Toulouse INP, but I think that is true for all the engineering schools in France, not especially for us. Of course, well, we are one of the best schools of engineers among France. Yes, indeed. But anyway, I think that is true for each and every school of engineers in France. We can have small groups, so it's easy for us to take to look after and take care of you. Our objective is to make you industry ready. So that's why we have a lot of projects, a lot of lab works in international teams. There are buddy programs in order to help you and welcome teams. And as Eric said, French language will be a bonus. You can see here several reasons why it will be a bonus. It would be a bonus for your CV, to be an intern, to be recruited, for your daily life, and for part-time job. And to help you to learn French, then we propose French language summer schools. You can find a full list on Campus France websites of French language summer schools, but also French courses along the year. And what about internship? As it has been said in the introduction, internship are mandatory. By the end of the master, 6-month internship are mandatory. And one important thing is that they are paid. They are paid, well, from 600 euros a month if you work in a public lab, up to, I don't know exactly the amount, but 1,000, 1,200 if you work in a private company. Depends on the size of the company, on the sector, and maybe on your negotiation skills. And due to the COVID crisis, the current internship have been extended, and the graduation ceremony will take place in December, and this distant work has been possible and will be possible in the future. So just a small images to prove that we have a lot of hands-on projects, several things which come from our schools of engineers. And we had a survey, that I sent to 200 foreign students, and I obtained 71 answers. That's our students coming from these sectors here: agro-food, electronics, energy, fluid mechanics, chemistry, industrial safety, and water engineering and management. So 71 answered, half female, half male, and they came from all these engineering sectors. So what were the questions? First question was, where do you work? So you can see that 49 of them out of 71 work in France, but a lot of them as well work in Germany, Poland, Spain, UK. I don't know if it would be the case in the future, but due to Brexit. But anyway, they work in Europe, and the others work in their home country. So they came back in their home country where they work. So they mostly work full time. And if you look at that, they have 1/3 of them stayed in France for a PhD, and the other part, the largest part here, 55%, have a professional activity, and they are mostly in the private sector. They're in companies and in the private sector, and all of them have responsibilities, financial, team, or project responsibilities. All of them. In which sector do they work? So they work, you can see here, there's a big distribution. So they work in IT, they work in information, ICT, in the energy sector. So maybe you can have just a glimpse on that. Telecommunication, transportation, which are elements, domains in which we are very active. And most of them work with the research and development sectors. So they could be team managers, they could be project leaders, and they mostly work in the research and development in all these sectors. And one very important thing is how long did it take for them to get a job? So just after graduation. So you can see here that more or less half of the population, the 71, got their job before graduation. It means during their internship. They got their job in France or in Europe during their internship. So, or if you add that sector here, from 1 to 3 months, you can see that the majority of the foreign students that we had got their job before within the period of 1 or 2 months. So that's very interesting. In which sector? Who are they working for? I put there the name of the companies for which they are working. So you can recognize some very famous names such as Schneider Electric, Schneider, Altran, Alstom, and Samsung, ST Microelectronics, and so other things like that. Of course, those names come from the engineering side, but not limited to, because we have that name here, PepsiCo, and I think that the persons who work with PepsiCo come from the agro sector and the agro program we have. How did they find this job? So most of them found their job while finishing their internship, during their internship, as it was said before, but also through professional social networks and, well, different applications. Are they satisfied of their current job? Well, they say yes, really satisfied, 34%, and satisfied, 48%. So the vast majority of the people we had in our training programs and who got their job after that are satisfied or really satisfied by their current job. Would they recommend Toulouse INP or programs to a friend for, well, higher education program? The answer is yes, indeed. And I will finish with that information here. What is the average gross salary? But the only information I have is for French students, French beginners, and it depends on the place where they work. Of course, they will be more paid if they work in Paris than if they work everywhere else in France. But if they work in the IT sector, electrical engineering, fluid mechanics, computer science, and so on, so the average salary would be around 40,000 euros a year. It would be a little bit less if they work in the chemical sector, chemical engineering, material science, and all those related sectors, between 30,000 and 35,000 a year, and a little bit less, once again, in agronomy and agriculture sector. All of them got a Master of Science, So, in a nutshell, maybe there is, okay, that's the only one. In a nutshell, our Master of Science work mostly full-time in France or Europe in private companies. They got their job very rapidly, one of you just after 1 or 3 months. They all have financial and team or project responsibilities, and they're happy in their work. They said they are satisfied, and they found their jobs through personal application, but mainly through when they were intern in that specific company, and they would recommend our institution. So my conclusive word would be that, of course, we offer training programs, but there are also a lot of activities, clubs that the students can, in which they can participate. And that's really important in France. The student life, apart from the training programs, is very important in our schools of engineers. And, well, some few reasons to come. Well, get a master from our schools, engineering schools in France. They are well renowned. The engineering schools are industry and research oriented. You can work in European companies. You can go pursue your studies in a PhD after an internship in a lab, and you could learn. That would be a good opportunity for you to learn French language and discover our culture. So thank you very much for your attention. If you want to visit our website or write me an email, I will be more than happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monsieur Motion. Thank you very much for your valuable insights. I'm sure it has been very helpful for our students. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I think due to some technical glitch, Dharani cannot join us just yet. So we will have our alumna share her experience, and then Dharani can talk after the alumna. In the meantime, let's hope she can. The problem is resolved. So Kanika, can you tell us a little bit about your experience? What was it like looking for an internship? What was it like looking for a job? Any difficulties or glitches that you faced, and how do you basically surmount them? Any tips, any advice for our students who are looking for an internship or a job over there?
Hello, everyone. I am Kanika Bharadwaj, and thank you so much to have me here. I'm an alumni from Grenoble École de Management. I finished my MBA this year in 2020. So I'm a very recent graduate. My MBA was 2 years, and as a part of my program, I had to do an internship, and I was very lucky to find one. And it's not that people don't find it's challenging, but you need to really work hard. So I see so many questions for internships and jobs. I was exactly in the same state as you guys are today, 2 years back. When I started my MBA, I was questioning that, will I find an internship? How will I find it? What do I need to do? And like Pascal said, and his presentation was very, very helpful, because you need to start networking from the day you are in the program. You need to start building your database of companies that you're looking at, the kind of roles you're looking for, the kind of programs you are, the kind of roles you want to work in. So from the day you are in the in the program, you need to start looking at the next step that you want to do. So do not delay that, and start ASAP. And so yeah, that was my experience of finding an internship. And I was most of my class found an internship in the area that they were looking for. So that's one good thing. And then I finished my MBA in, like, my theoretical part in 2019. And then I went to Sophia Antipolis in Amadeus to do my internship in communication and knowledge management, which lasted 6 months. And I loved the whole experience during my internship. It was very international. My team was very international. I had teams spread across the world, and I didn't feel like I didn't like my internship. So I was very satisfied with my internship, to say. So apart from that, I'm really thinking about the tips that I can give you. I've already started by saying, like, yes, make sure you start applying as soon as you get into the program. And another thing is, do not forget to get in touch with your career services, because a lot of times I was always in touch with them, even though, like, do not expect them to come to you. Do not expect that they will give you a job, but they are there to help you through the process. They are here to support you and make sure that you know the companies you're applying to, or if they have someone in the company that you're applying to, they can put you in touch with them, and they will be helpful. They're always very helpful, but do not expect that they are going to bring a job on your plate. But do as much as you can. Go to every extent to look for the perfect internship that you are looking for. I finished my internship in February 2020. I had a full-time opportunity with Amadeus, but the current context, 2020 is special with COVID-19. Unfortunately, Amadeus being a company in travel tech, they were not performing very well. So they couldn't continue with that. They offered me to hold on a bit and join them probably in a few months. But obviously, I had my own plans. I had to look for more opportunities, other opportunities around the world. And I did that. So there was a phase during when COVID started that I didn't have a job. But all I was doing was trying my best, applying to the companies I still knew would be recruiting, look at the industries that are running, especially in today's context, because I know a lot of you must be in this doubt that how do we work today, especially how will I find a job in the COVID context. But look at industries where it's very like digital technologies, a digital business, digital marketing, or areas which are very digital, are recruiting. So when I finished my internship in February, I started looking at opportunities. And today I started in July as an international marketing manager at ESSEC Business School. And I was working in the education industry before my master's. So it was perfectly my dream job that I got. And it took some more time than normal, but finally I got my dream job. So I'm very happy. So my one very important tip for you would be, keep networking, keep working towards your dream, and you will achieve what you are looking for. Just keep going and keep challenging yourself. Every challenge is there for you to overcome, and go ahead and you will achieve your dreams. Thank you. I think that's good for me.
Thank you, Kanika. Thank you very much. I'm sure that is great advice for our students to keep at it. Thank you very much. We would now like to move to Dharani. Dharani, could you give us a little bit some information about jobs and internships in India? What are the opportunities like for students in India? What are the opportunities that students from Schema have had so far? What have their experiences been, and any advice that you may have for our students?
Okay. Firstly, very good
Thank you.
evening to all the panelists, and it's an honor to be a part of this session and share the information. I represent Schema Business School in India. So I would first go through, I'll first like to explain how Schema works, like in terms of their talent and career team. So we have a talent and career team in all the three campuses of France in Schema, in Nice, so in Paris and in Lille. How does that work? Once the students are over there, we conduct several workshops throughout the year in how to put your CV in French, how what to talk, what not to talk, the grooming skills, what to dress up, what should be your elevator pitch when we have our recruitment days at the campus. So that's one way of starting to groom the students towards internship and job opportunities. That is how that is one aspect of how our career and talent team works. Secondly, we also organize career fairs, that is recruitment days. It's not an on-campus placement. Indian students, very specifically, I'm saying it's a recruitment day or a career fair where we have more than 300 companies on our panel. So they come, the recruitment manager, they come, they talk to you during the interviews. They take your motives, they take your CVs, they take your cover letters, and then they get back to you and they get back to the corporate relations team of our school with the email that, okay, we are in need of XYZ intern during this time, and let's call an student for an interview from Schema. So that's how it works. So we have more than 300 companies on our panel, in which we have been thorough with our relationships also, despite COVID. So that's another way. Then we also have we also have the days in which we have companies coming, like we have conference days where, for example, KPMG comes and gives a brief presentation about their recruitment. So that is very company specific. That is how it works. So KPMG comes with one of their management trainee from Schema, just to motivate the students. They take the resumes, and that's how they give a speech, they give a presentation, and that helps the students to connect. Networking, apart from the career and talent team, there is another way of networking with a group of students during the university cafeterias, anywhere, just to say, okay, I'm looking for this kind of internship opportunities. Because I recruited someone, I had an internship opportunity in South France, but I had already got one in North, so I passed on to one of my friends when I was in France. So that kind of networking, informal networking, also helps. And then we have Visio Talent, and we have another online platforms for which the career team, on and off, they will give you all the related workshops which is needed on how to put a resume on the online platform, what to talk to the company, what is the level of French that you need to, learn in case you are applying for a French company, because we are also having an MIM program in which we have an option of gap year. But the students don't understand that gap year is only for students who are kind of B2 or C1 level of French. So that's how the talent and the career team works in France. Coming to India, when the students come back, now we have a very big platform with the Indo-French Chambers of Commerce. They have an excellent human resource team, which recruits a lot of Indian students who come back to India from France. And because we have a lot of French companies based out in India and Indian companies who are expanding quite well in France, so there is a need of someone who has this cross-cultural understanding between the two countries. So someone who graduates from France and comes back to India has got more opportunities now because of the bilateral trade agreements between the two countries, and education, a lot of students going to France, and a lot of companies being here. So Indo-French Chambers is how I got my job, when I was working for the trade show promotions with promo salons. And then I started with even with Schema, I started through my networking with the Indo-French industry. So that's how it helps once you are back in India. Now it like the opportunities are more for the students in terms of working in a French company, or growing in their lives after as a career. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Tarini. Thank you for your valuable insight. And Shubhra will take the questions now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shivani. And I'm sure all of our panelists have shared all the information, and it will be definitely beneficial to all our students who are willing to go to France this year or maybe in coming years, because this is like the reality which you guys have shown, that they really need to look for internships during their programs and for jobs post completion of their programs. One very frequent question that we've been receiving is the role of French language, and what level of French language or English language would be needed if any student is looking for an internship or a job during their program or post completion of their program. If one of you could take up that question.
I don't mind taking up that question because I have that experience. And so I myself did speak French when I moved to France. I learned French. So my recommendation would be for you to make sure that you at least have an A2 B1 level of French before you come to France, so that when you're here, you work on improving your level. And when you're looking for an internship, if you're looking for it depends on what environment you're working in. All right. So if you end up in a company which is a very French environment, then you would need a minimum B2 level of French so that you can get used to it. But if you're working in an international environment, which I have been working in ever since I've been here, most of the international people who work in France end up in international environments. You would not need French on a regular working basis, but you would need French, let's say, like to get along with the culture, with the people, with the in the coffee room and at a drink. But apart from that, I would say if you really want to improve your chances of getting an internship or a job in France, make sure you have a minimum of B1 level of French and then improve from there. That's not the stop point, that's the start point.
I agree with. Yeah, I agree with most of what Kanika said, but I wouldn't say that B1 would be the starting point. Of course, the highest level of French, the better it would be, to find an internship for daily life and so on. Okay, but well, if you come to France and you're completely open-minded, then you do a lot of efforts to in your training program in whatever the domain, but also to learn French. You will improve your level will be improved rapidly, and then so it would be great. And she's perfectly right saying that it depends on the company in which you will be working. If you work for SME, well, French would be mandatory. If you work for a big company such as Airbus, Thales, Thomson, Safran, and so on, well, your daily contacts would be in English, of course, with your managers. So, but French would be, well, obviously would be necessary as well for your daily life and to interact with your colleagues, and would be a better thing if you have an initial level of French, which would be, I would say, between A1 and A2, and we will improve this. We'll take care of that with the French courses along the 2 years of your master program.
Thank you so much, Pascal, for clearing it out for our students what exactly is required and what could be the pointers that they have to keep in mind. Next question is, I think, more directed towards Mr. Eric. I would say it's more related to the jobs. If a person is already working here in India and wants to switch company and find one in France, how can they go about it? Or if they just want to shift to a French company, is there a way, or they should be following the route of studying in France and then only they should be moving ahead with it?
Well, I think it can be a good option to find. I know that some French company in India are looking for internship also, and so it could be a first step, like being in India, studying in India, and doing some training in that company, and then for sure, I mean, because they need people to be trained on both countries, so I think it could be a good option and a good start, for sure. And about the language, I mean, what we said about the French language is also true for French students. I mean, if I receive a CV from a French student who only speaks English, I won't be very interested. If I see that the students speak English plus Portuguese, Italian, Hindi, or whatever, or Japanese, it makes the CV much more interesting. And most of the company now who are into international and exports activities are also looking for more than 2 languages, actually.
Okay. So yes, I think this one thing is we pointed out that learning a language is important, and I feel that it's always going to be beneficial to any student. In no way it's going to harm anyone learning a new language, be it
Yeah.
or in general scenario of your life. Another thing that we are receiving, well, I would like to clear out to all our viewers. Yes, you can view the recordings later on, and you can reach out to all our panelists on their booth post this webinar. We're talking about STEMA and Toulouse. You can meet them and have a conversation, one-on-one interaction with them post this webinar. They can take up your questions, and there are specific questions about marketing domain and how do they find jobs and internships. Is there something that Dharani you can share about? How do marketing students find internships and jobs, or some tips that you can give them specifically? Yes, please.
Okay, okay, let's just say that the whole session is about jobs and internship opportunities. So it can be for marketing, finance, international business. For each and every student, I think the questions are always similar. And but like I said, once the student is studying, you one thing that I would like to clarify to all the students here is that you are not going to the business school like the business schools in India. You are going to an European business school. It's a different culture. It's a different way of working, and you have to groom yourself from the day one. You have to be little proactive with your talent and career team in terms of telling them that this is what I am looking for, an internship opportunity. Basically, an internship in France, it's a paid internship, of course, but it is all about of what you are looking um, as in terms of a research. For example, I was I before going for my masters, I was working in education industry for 2 years. So I clearly went and I told my career and talent team that I'm looking for human resource department into an internship department very specifically. That is my mission, to say that how a student, international student who goes abroad, tries to find an internship. What are the ways in which, tools and methods in which a student can, international student can look for a job opportunity abroad. So that was a very specific topic. It's all about how you will be exploring. For marketing students, you can definitely say I'm looking to work in marketing department in a luxury sector, or marketing department with a startup. So I'm trying to open the avenues for all the students here to understand the concept of internship. And remember, after the end of internship, there is a thesis and report which are supposed to make of 30 pages and submit it to your mentor in the school, after which you get a valid 10 credits and then you get your degree. So it's a most important aspect of your studies, in which all the learnings that you have taken for 1 year or a 2 years program, you have to implement it and show it on a practical basis. Your feedback goes every month from the mentor of your company. It goes to your course director and to the career and talent team about your performance also. So just take it very seriously, always be on time. Try to interact with your other interns in the company. All these things actually carry a lot of weightage when you are finishing your internship, and probably you might land up getting a job in the same company because of your adaptability with the others. That's where your cross culture skills are to be tested, tried and tested. So my idea would be to tell everybody that try to explore. Don't go on a very stereotype Indian way of doing your internship, that okay, course is over, I look for an internship, that blah blah blah. No, internship is about research, about certain projects and missions that you are supposed to do, and the avenues are ample. So try to explore yourself and challenge yourself. That's what an internship abroad with the European schools are about.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dharani, about that. And there is just one last question, which I'm sure you would have faced and you would have been encountered with. That is, how is the job market after COVID? What can the students expect? Is it opening now, or it's all digitized? How is it? If you can just share one line each, and then we will be directing our students for the face-to-face interaction with all of you.
Yeah. I think everyone can answer for this very
Yes,
little
yes,
detail.
yes.
Yeah, you know.
Sure, sure.
I
So
can, if you want, I
yeah.
can give a big picture about what is the now economic situation. Of course, like India, I mean, we were very much affected, and for the second time now by COVID, the new lockdown in France, with the decrease of the growth of the economy by 10%, like India, more or less. But our government, to keep the first position in Europe, has injected 100 billion euro to the economy, and for a greener economy, to relaunch company, to save some company who were like in difficulties, to maintain the jobs. So we have a very good program for companies to not to fire people, but to keep the people paid during the COVID time. And we think that the recovery next year will start, and by 2022, we will be creating jobs again. So I think that what the government is doing is helping a lot the business to maintain jobs, and with all the money that is injected in the economy, to create new jobs, and new jobs in technology, new job in energy. Hydrogen is the new big focus of France for the climate change. I mean, obviously, electrical vehicles, it's a key issue for France, but hydrogen is becoming a very strong program also in France. So I'm telling this for the engineers. And so I think we will recover from COVID as soon as we get the vaccine, and everyone is back to work, not working from home. So we are very confident about next year, actually. And I fully agree with what Schema just said. If I can tell that my niece who is at Schema in Lille, she had two beautiful internship last year. She fought a lot to find internship for the second year of studies. She found 6 months internship at L'Occitane. L'Occitane is one of the best cosmetic French brand, and she was in charge of marketing research. And it was not an internship at the end; it's a real job, and it's very well paid. And she was still a student, so I can tell that you have to fight even as a French student to find an internship, but there is room for everyone. And once you find it, I think it's a very good experience for the future. It gives you a very good also connection for other companies as a reference in a very good French company or brand.
Right. Well, thank you so much to all of you for sharing all your information. Thanks a lot. I would like to ask all our students to have one-on-one interaction now. And for all the courses that you wanted to know about, you can visit Campus France booth for that. And for specific questions related to business France or management schools or engineering schools, you can contact our panelists. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.